Continuing my quest to get all the stamps in my National Parks passport, we travel to Herbert Hoover's National Historic Site in West Branch, Iowa. I think so. We're here.
The visitor center.
Oh.
Your destination is on the left.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to park in here.
I would, yeah.
Is that the museum playing the music? Well, it's pouring down rain. There is quite a few houses in through here. Are they open? Can you get into them?
If you want to put it at the camera, you can. I mean, there's a...
Blacksmith shop. Oh, look, it goes right to downtown.
So that's what's original.
That's original house.
That's a front house.
Is the door unlocked?
Without it, unless the outhouse.
It's wheelchair accessible. Hammering out a dinner gong. Oh, that's a rolling machine there to roll that out. That's cool. I forget what those things are called there. Give me a minute, I'll tell you. Look at all their blank cold rolled mild steel blanks over there. But shear. Look, got shears. I got a smaller one like that. An Edward shear. I got a Beverly shear for making stuff for the SCA. Look at the size of those bevels. Look at this Edward shear.
By the way, you can go in the house.
I got a smaller one. But that metal up there, you put in that shear, it's like a big pair of scissors. And then
Did you hear me? You can actually go in the house.
oh, you can. Can Can you imagine? This is all the space.
I'm not shut this door. I'm not coming out there anymore.
Look at that sewing machine. Chamber pot when you got to go to bed in the middle of the night. That's what you had to use. Oh, I'm getting wet in this rain. So that's what's closed for renovation, is that fancy museum, which I remember my grandmother took me to years and years ago. What I learned from, I'm going to try and find one, the crying room. Wow, when the kids misbehave, they had to go there to cry. I guess the women's side and the men's side. Okay, that was what I was going to ask the park ranger. Why buildings always had two doors? That's the woman's side and that's the men's side. But he said that there are two active churches in this town. Where the Quaker religion is still an active religion with two churches in this town. So the women have to sit on this side for church, and the men sit on that side. I wish they'd fire that up. It's cold. And so I guess they can actually shut these petitions. So I guess the men will be going to church here, and the choir will be up here. Oh well. Well, that's sort of neat. Never been in a Quaker church before. Look. Kerosene lanterns. How in the world did they fill them and light them? So, this is the famous statue of Isis. Goddess of life. Look at her nipples sticking out. Is that the gravesite?
Yeah. I have to park right here. You want to go up there or not?
Is that a walking trail?
Yeah.
No, I'm freezing and I'm wet.
Yeah, walking trail.
It just looked like there was a... That's not much of a... That's not much of a...
1874. In West Branch, Iowa, the 31st President of the United States was born. The small cottage was built by his father and grandfather. It was a home with walls strong and secure, curtains opening to windows on the world.
My roots are in this soil. The cottage where I was born is physical proof of the unbounded opportunity of American life.
Herbert Hoover never lost his fondness for West Branch. In the 1930s, he and his wife Lou made a commitment to restore the birthplace cottage. It's now the centerpiece of Herbert Hoover National Historic Site, under the stewardship of the National Park Service. Hoover wished for everyone a childhood such as his in West Branch.
The days should be filled with adventure and great undertakings, with participation in good and comforting things.
Bert was the middle child of Jesse and Huldah Hoover. His father was a joke-loving, generous man, tall and slender, with kindly eyes. Huldah had a gay spirit, filled with enthusiasm. She was well educated. Before marrying Jesse, Huldah had attended the University of Iowa and taught school. The Hoover home was a place of play and merriment, a gathering spot for countless relatives and friends. Bert's older brother, Theodore, was called Tad, short for Tadpole. Younger sister Mary was nicknamed May. Jesse and Huldah lovingly centered their lives around their family and their Quaker faith. In West Branch, the Quakers built a meeting house that exemplified their religion, simple and without ceremony. Families gathered here, children and adults, sitting in stillness for hours, unless a person was moved by the inner light to speak.
Those who are acquainted with the Quaker faith will know the intense repression upon a 10-year-old boy who might not even count his toes. It was strong training in patience.
The Quaker ideal promotes social justice, usefulness to others, and worldwide peace. Those values permeated Hoover's life. During and after World War I, he organized relief efforts that rescued nearly 20 million people in Europe. He came to be known as the Great Humanitarian. As president, he organized a World Disarmament Conference. When Hoover was blamed for the Great Depression, his Quaker discipline kept him from revealing his private anguish and tireless work. Hoover's work ethic was shaped at the forge of his father's blacksmith shop. Bertie and Tad helped out by sweeping and running errands. Later, Jesse sold his business and opened a farm equipment shop on the main street of booming West Branch. The family prospered and moved to a larger home, which they named the House of the Maples. Playtime followed chores like splitting wood and hoeing the garden.
The prevailing rate for picking potato bugs was 1 cent a hundred. And if you wanted firecrackers on the 4th of July, you took it or left it.
Pitching in to help was part of Hoover's childhood. It assured him, as an adult, that others would do the same if asked. And they did. During World War I, the entire nation Hooverized, planting war gardens, observing Meatless Mondays, and sacrificing their own comforts to help win the war. Education is a strong Quaker tradition, which the Hoovers readily followed.
Iowa in those days was filled with days of school. And who doesn't remember, with a blow, some gentle woman who with infinite patience and kindness drilled into us those foundations of all we know today.
The adventures and great undertakings that were to fill Hoover's life began with zest during his boyhood in West Branch.
There was Cook's Hill, a great long hill where on winter's nights, to satisfy our craving for speed, we slid down at terrific pace with tummies tight to homemade sleds.
His Stanford degree in geology and work as a mining engineer found their beginnings here as well.
You discovered gems of agate and fossil coral. Their fine points came out wonderfully when wet, and you had to lick them with your tongue before each exhibit.
Memories of his own joyful youth inspired Hoover to dedicate himself to the Boys' Clubs of America. As chairman, he vastly expanded the recreational opportunities for millions of disadvantaged children.
I prefer to think of Iowa as I saw it through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy. These were eyes filled with the wonders of Iowa's streams and woods.
The wonders of the woods stayed with him. As president, Hoover's Commission on Conservation paved the way for protection of an additional 2 million acres of national forests and 3 million acres of national parks. When Bert was 6 years old, his father Jesse took ill. The children went to stay with their great-uncle Ben. On December 13th, Huldah sent a rider to bring the children to say goodbye to their father. He died before they got home. While the family grieved, Huldah was most concerned about the children. She wanted to save for their college education all the financial resources left to her. Huldah rented the spare rooms, sold produce from the garden, took in sewing, and spent half the year staying with relatives. Huldah became a Quaker leader and was often called away to neighboring villages to speak. On one trip, she caught a cold. It worsened on another. Huldah never recovered and died from pneumonia and typhoid.
After her death, our home was necessarily broken up. I have dim recollections of the counsels of kindly relatives and others, not as who should undertake the duty of raising the 3 orphans, but who should have the joy of adding them to their own broods.
Eventually, the 3 children were separated and sent to relatives. Bert was taken by Uncle Alan and Aunt Millie to live on their farm with their 5 children. So many were there to befriend him when he became an orphan that Herbert Hoover became a lifelong friend to children everywhere. His vision for an organization to feed children around the world became the United Nations Fund known as UNICEF. When Bert was 10, his Uncle Henry John Minthorn's son fell from a hay wagon and was killed. "I would like to have Bertie," Dr. Minthorn wrote from Oregon. Although the relatives were anguished to send him so far away, they felt it was best for the boy. Uncle John was the newly named superintendent of the Friends Pacific Academy, which Bert could attend. For the long train journey, Bert wore his oldest clothes. A new suit and shoes were carefully packed in his bulging suitcase. Snug in the bottom were his only 2 keepsakes from his mother. 2 quotes from the Bible. One said, Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation. And the other, I will never leave or forsake thee. He carried a basket of his favorite foods from Aunt Millie, and 2 dimes sewn in his pocket for spending money. Then, amid tears and hugs, Bert Hoover climbed onto the train, headed for Oregon. He bid farewell to West Branch, a place that his heart would never leave.
Towards what?
That's towards the edge of town. Courthouse, is it?
Nothing very bad.
No,
I figured it would be.
it's a little courthouse.
Yeah, it was.
Outside.
I know. It was down here. There was
Oh,
the
okay.
birch, whatever it is.
Where?
There's more stuff that way. You see what it was?
After Main Street Antiques and Art, turn left onto Poplar Street.